Welcome to my channel. My name is Jay from J English. Today podcast is about how to build confidence when you speak English in public. Let me ask you one question. Are you tired of feeling tongue-tied in public? You're not alone. Whether it's ordering coffee, asking for directions, or speaking up in class, the fear of speaking English can make even simple situations feel like a battlefield. But what if the problem isn't your vocabulary, but your mindset? Imagine this. Your heart races, palms sweat, and you hesitate, not because you lack the words, but because fear. The good news? That fear is beatable. Think you can't speak English in public? Think again. Confidence isn't born, it's built. And in this video, we're going to show you exactly how to build it, step by step. We'll break down the myths around fluency and focus on what really matters: being understood. You don't need to speak like a native, you just need to speak. Start with small wins. Practice short phrases in front of the mirror. Record your voice and listen back. You'll start noticing progress faster than you think. Next, learn to control your anxiety. Deep breathing before speaking, visualizing success, and embracing pauses as your thinking space can completely change the game. Fear shrinks when you face it, especially in controlled settings. Talk to yourself in English at home. Narrate your day. Then try it in public, one sentence at a time. Remember, your English doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be real. You're not aiming to impress. You're aiming to express. Every mistake is proof you're trying, and every word you say is a step forward. So stop waiting for the right time. Start now. Speak up. Your voice is stronger than your fear. Let's unlock the confident speaker inside you together. Chapter 1: The Fear Factor. Understanding your anxiety. You now understand where that nervous energy comes from, how your brain reacts to perceived threats, and what triggers your fear of speaking English in public. But understanding alone isn't enough. To truly move forward, you need action. You need tools. And that's what we're diving into now: how to build real, unshakable confidence through practical, science-backed strategies. No more theory. This is your transformation zone. Let's begin with something deceptively simple: your breath. Deep breathing is not just a relaxation hack, it's a proven way to regulate the nervous system. When you're anxious, your body goes into fight or flight mode. Your heart races, muscles tighten, and breathing becomes shallow. This fuels panic, but slow, deliberate breaths signal safety to the brain. It's like flipping a switch in your body. Try this. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and exhale through your mouth for 6. Do this cycle 3 to 5 times before any speaking task. You'll notice your heart rate drop, your hands steadier, and your mind less chaotic. Now add mindfulness. No, you don't need to sit cross-legged for an hour. Just take a moment before you speak, whether in class, at work, or at the store, and notice what's happening in your body. Feel your feet on the ground. Name what you're feeling. I feel nervous, or I feel uncertain. Acknowledging your emotion without judgment is the key. It puts space between you and your fear. Instead of being consumed by anxiety, you become an observer. That shift alone reduces the power fear holds over you. Still, all the calm breathing in the world won't help if you haven't prepared. Confidence comes from competence. If you want to speak English with ease, you have to put in the reps. There's no shortcut around practice. But here's the thing, most people practice wrong. They read silently, memorize grammar rules, or watch videos passively. That won't build speaking confidence. You must practice out loud. Speak to yourself in front of a mirror. Read short passages and repeat them. Record your voice and listen back. Yes, it's awkward, but it works. Over time, you'll start catching small mistakes, adjusting your pronunciation, and getting used to your own voice in English. Even better, script out situations you struggle with. Ordering food, write a short dialogue. Asking someone for help, practice possible questions and answers. Repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity crushes fear. If your brain knows what to expect, it won't sound the anxiety alarm so loudly. Don't worry about being word perfect. Fluency is not about using fancy vocabulary. It's about comfort and clarity. Once you've practiced the words, it's time to train the mind. This is where positive self-talk and visualization come in. Right now, your inner voice might be working against you. It says things like, "I'll mess up, they'll laugh at me," or "my accent is bad." That voice is your fear, not your truth. You need to rewrite that script. Start with a simple replacement, "I'm learning." And move to more powerful affirmations like, "My voice matters," or "Every time I speak, I grow stronger." Say them aloud. Write them down. Repeat them before every speaking opportunity, and then visualize. This isn't just positive thinking. Visualization is mental rehearsal, and your brain reacts to it almost the same way as real-life experience. Close your eyes. Picture yourself walking confidently into the room. See yourself speaking. Hear your voice, clear and steady. Imagine smiling, finishing your sentence, and the other person nodding and understanding. Create that mental movie daily. The more you watch it, the more your mind starts to believe it. Eventually, your body will follow that belief. Now let's put all these tools together. Let's say you have to speak up during a group discussion in class. Step 1, before class, spend 2 minutes doing deep breathing. Let your heart rate settle. Step 2, use positive self-talk. Remind yourself, "I've practiced. I am ready. My ideas have value." Step 3, visualize success. Imagine raising your hand, sharing your thoughts, and receiving acknowledgement. Step 4, when it's your turn, focus on connection, not perfection. Speak slowly, breathe between sentences, and remember, your job is to be understood, not to impress. These strategies are not magic. They won't erase fear in a day, but they will weaken it. Every time you use them, your confidence grows. Every time you speak, even if it's just a few words, you're building resilience. Think of confidence like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And like any workout, some days will feel easy. Others will feel tough. That's okay. The point is to keep going. Also, surround yourself with a growth mindset. Talk to friends who support your effort to improve. Follow English-speaking creators who speak at a natural, slower pace. Join small conversation groups or language exchange apps. The more safe spaces you create to speak, the more you'll stretch your comfort zone. And soon, what once felt impossible, speaking English in public, will become second nature. To truly grow, you must also change your relationship with mistakes. Right now, you might view them as proof that you're bad at English. That's the wrong lens. Mistakes are evidence that you're trying. They are feedback, not failure. Every successful speaker you admire once stumbled, froze, or mispronounced something. What set them apart wasn't perfection, it was persistence. Celebrate your small wins. Did you greet someone confidently? That's a win. Did you ask a question in English, even if it came out messy? That's a win, too. Confidence is not built in big moments. It's built in the tiny, everyday decisions to keep showing up. As we close this section, remember this truth. Your fear is loud, but it's not your final voice. Underneath, it lives your potential waiting. The moment you choose to act despite the fear, you've already begun to unlock that potential. In the next chapter, we'll move from solo preparation to interactive skills. Because the real test of speaking confidence is communication, not just rehearsed monologues. We'll explore how to connect with others in real conversations, how to respond when you don't understand someone, and how to turn social interactions into opportunities for growth. But for now, let these techniques sink in. Breathe, speak, visualize, practice. Your journey to confident English speaking isn't just possible, it's already happening. Chapter R, Building Confidence, Practical Strategies. Once you've taken that first step of calming your nerves and rewiring your inner dialogue, the next stage is to fine-tune your delivery. Because confidence isn't just about what you feel inside, it's also about how you communicate on the outside. And for that, you need to master the basics of spoken communication. Let's be clear, fluency does not mean speaking fast or using big words. Fluency is the ability to convey your thoughts in a way that others understand. It's about connection, not perfection. And that connection begins with clear pronunciation. Many English learners struggle with this because they're afraid of sounding wrong. So they either mumble, speak too softly, or rush through their words hoping people won't notice the flaws. But this only makes it harder to understand you, which leads to more nervousness, which then reinforces the fear. It becomes a cycle. The way out is to focus on articulation, not accent. You don't need to sound like a native. What matters is being clear. Start by practicing commonly mispronounced sounds in your native language. Use tongue twisters. Break difficult words into syllables. Record yourself saying words slowly and exaggerate the sounds. Listen. Adjust. Repeat. You'll begin to hear where your voice sounds confident and where it needs work. Don't shy away from this. Lean into it. Also, remember that clarity is more important than speed. When you slow down just a little, not only do you sound more confident, but your brain also has more time to catch up with your thoughts. You avoid filler words like or, you pause naturally. And those pauses aren't signs of weakness. They give your message power. Speaking slowly is not a weakness. It is presence. It is intention, but speech is more than sound. Your body is speaking too, even before your mouth opens. This is where body language becomes your silent ally. When you walk into a room, do you slouch or stand tall? Are your arms folded or relaxed? Is your face tight with worry or open with calm? These are subtle signals, but your audience reads them instantly. And here's the powerful part. When you change your body language, your brain responds. Standing up straight with your shoulders back and chin lifted actually boosts your internal confidence. It's not just a trick. It changes your physiology. Practice this in front of a mirror. Notice how you appear when you're relaxed versus when you're nervous. Watch your hands. Many people hide their hands or fidget when they're scared. Instead, use gentle, purposeful gestures. Don't wave around. That's distracting. But use your hands to support your words. A raised hand to show importance. A calm gesture. These visual cues help others stay engaged with your message and help you stay in rhythm with your thoughts. Eye contact is another key piece. A lot of learners avoid it, especially when they're unsure of what they're saying. But looking someone in the eyes while you speak, even briefly, adds weight to your words. It shows courage. You don't need to stare, just glance now and then. Think of it like checking in. Are you with me? That's all. Eye contact, like breathing, grounds you in the moment. Once your delivery is in place, your pronunciation is clear, your posture strong, your gestures supportive, you're ready for real interaction. And this is where many learners freeze again. It's one thing to rehearse a sentence alone. It's another to respond to a real person in real time. This is where the final part of communication mastery comes in. Confidence in conversation. Confidence in conversation doesn't mean you know all the answers. It means you stay calm even when you don't. If someone speaks too fast or you don't understand a word, the confident speaker doesn't panic. They clarify. They ask, they engage. So train yourself to use phrases like, "Sorry, can you say that again?" Or, "What does that word mean?" These are not signs of failure. They're tools of real communicators. Even native speakers use them. Asking questions keeps the conversation flowing and gives you space to think. Also, practice active listening. Too many people worry about what they'll say next and forget to listen. But when you truly listen, nodding, reacting, making small affirming sounds like "I see" or "really," you stay present. This presence makes your response more natural and fluid. You're not memorizing lines. You're part of a living dialogue. To develop this skill, watch interviews or podcasts and mimic them. Not just the words, but the rhythm, the tone, the interaction. Pause the video and respond as if you were the guest. Play out different situations, a job interview, a taxi ride, a phone call, and speak through them. Again, repetition builds comfort, and comfort leads to confidence. Now, here's something powerful. Start using English in low-pressure environments. You don't need to give a speech right away. Start by greeting someone at a coffee shop. Join an online forum. Leave a voice note to a friend. These tiny real-world actions train your brain to treat English not as a test, but as a tool. Each successful exchange is a confidence deposit. And when conversations go wrong, and sometimes they will, don't retreat. Reflect. What made you freeze? What confused you? What could you try next time? Use your failures like stepping stones. The path to confidence isn't a straight line. It's a loop of trying, failing, learning, and trying again. Let's also address a common myth that you need perfect grammar to be a confident speaker. That's false. People remember how you made them feel, not whether you used the past perfect correctly. Focus on clarity and connection. Grammar can be improved with time, but if you always wait to be perfect, you'll never speak. Use the grammar you know and speak with intention. That's enough to make an impact. And finally, embrace your voice. Yes, your literal voice. How does it sound? Do you rush? Do you whisper? Or do you speak with belief in what you're saying? Your voice is an instrument. Train it like one. Practice volume, pace, pitch. Experiment with speaking lower and slower. Often these are linked to higher confidence and calmness. Play with emotions. Read a sentence with excitement, then with curiosity, then with authority. This vocal range will give you power in real conversation. By combining all these clear speech, expressive body language, and active engagement, you become a speaker people want to listen to, not because you're perfect, but because you're present. You show up, you speak from the heart. You take space, own it, and use it to connect. So as we leave this chapter behind, take a moment to recognize how far you've come. You've understood your fear. You've learned to calm it. You've prepared your voice, your body, and your mind. And now you're ready to step into conversations, not as someone who is just learning, but as someone who, in the next section, will take everything you've learned and apply it in real minus. World speaking opportunities, from public speaking to job interviews to casual meetups, because speaking confidently in English is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of everything new you're about to unlock. Chapter 10, Mastering the Basics. Essential communication skills. Now that you've mastered the foundational elements, clear pronunciation, powerful body language, and genuine engagement in conversation, you're ready to take a bold step forward. It's time to apply these skills in real-world situations. Because growth doesn't happen in isolation, it happens when you interact, when you speak, stumble, recover, and keep going. Confidence in English isn't built behind closed doors. It's built in cafes, classrooms, interviews, markets, and meetings, in all the places where real communication lives and breathes. Let's begin with daily social interactions. These are your playground for practice. Saying good morning, ordering food, asking for directions. These may seem small, but they're actually your most powerful confidence-building tools. Why? Because they're short, frequent, and low risk. Audience judging you, no pressure to perform, just moments to test your voice and get comfortable with being heard. So don't avoid them, lean into them, be the one to initiate, ask how someone's day is going, compliment someone's jacket, comment on the weather. These seemingly random acts of conversation build fluency fast, not because they are complicated, but because they force you to use English spontaneously. But what about higher stakes settings like a job interview or a public presentation? That's where real pressure kicks in. And that's where all your practice becomes your safety net. Remember, people are not expecting perfection from you. They're expecting clarity, connection, and confidence. When you walk into an interview, your body language walks in before you do. If you're slouched, hesitant, or avoid eye contact, they'll sense your discomfort before you say a word. But if you stand tall, offer a genuine smile, and look them in the eyes, you immediately shift the energy. You don't need a perfect accent. You need to show presence. Here's how you can prepare for situations like interviews or meetings. Write down the most likely questions you'll be asked. For example, tell me about yourself. Why do you want this role? Or what are your strengths? Then speak your answers, not just once, 10 times, 20 times. Record yourself. Watch how you move. Listen to how you sound. Notice your filler words. Notice your strengths. Don't aim for memorization. Aim for familiarity. When your brain has already heard you say those things out loud many times, it won't panic when it hears the question again in real life. For presentations or public speaking moments, structure is your friend. Use the three-part speech formula: introduction, main points, closing summary. Write down your ideas in bullet points, not full sentences. This keeps you from sounding robotic. Then, practice telling your points as if you're telling a story, conversational, confident, and clear. Use gestures to support key moments. Make eye contact to reinforce your message. Most importantly, pause. Silence is not your enemy. Pausing between points helps your audience process your words, and it helps you breathe, stay calm, and reset your rhythm. Another skill that will set you apart is the art of handling misunderstandings gracefully. It's natural, even inevitable, that someone might not understand you at some point, or you might not understand them. The difference between a nervous speaker and a confident one is how they respond. Don't freeze or apologize unnecessarily. Instead, repeat calmly, rephrase if needed, or ask for clarification. Say things like, let me say that a different way, or could you explain that again just a bit slower? These are not weaknesses, they're strengths. They show you're actively managing the conversation, not letting fear control it. Let's talk about group conversations, the ones where people talk fast, interrupt, laugh, and jump from topic to topic. These can be scary, especially when everyone else seems fluent. The trick is not to wait for a perfect gap to speak. That moment rarely comes. Instead, lean in. React non-verbally, nod, smile, show interest. Then, when there's a brief pause, jump in with something simple. That's funny, or I agree with that point, or even can I add something? These little phrases help you blend in and gradually take more space in the conversation. And remember, even one sentence in a group setting is a success. It's a win. Build from there. You also need to understand the power of emotional connection. People respond more to how you make them feel than to how grammatically correct your sentences are. If your eyes are kind, your tone is warm, and your message is clear, people will lean in to listen, even if you make small mistakes. That's the truth most language learners don't hear enough. Your confidence doesn't come from speaking like a textbook. It comes from sounding like yourself, real, human, and relatable. Now, let's bring in storytelling. Whether you're in a classroom, on a date, at work, or among friends, the ability to tell a short, personal story in English makes you instantly more engaging. Start small. Choose a memory, a funny thing that happened at the market, a trip you took, a time you failed and learned. Structure it in 3 parts: what happened, how you felt, and what you learned. Then practice telling it out loud. Record it, tell it to a friend, post it in a language learning group. The more you tell your story, the more natural it becomes, and suddenly you're not just speaking English. You're connecting. One more thing, create a system of self-feedback. After every interaction in English, no matter how short, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, Strel, what went well? What felt awkward? What phrase do I want to remember for next time? Write these things down. Keep a confidence journal, track your improvement. This turns every conversation into a classroom. It's not about perfection, it's about awareness. And awareness leads to progress. Also, don't underestimate the power of celebrating progress. Too many learners only focus on what's still wrong. Flip that mindset. Did you speak English to that? So did you try even though you were scared? That's a victory. Your goal is not to speak without fear. Your goal is to speak despite the fear. That's real courage and real growth. Over time, you'll notice something subtle but powerful. People will start listening to you differently, not because your grammar is perfect, but because your presence is strong. Your message is clear. Your energy is confident. You'll walk into rooms differently. You'll start conversations instead of avoiding them. You'll no longer hide behind silence or fake smiles. You'll speak, even when you tremble. And each time you do, your voice will grow steadier, stronger, and more self-assured. As we close this chapter of your journey, remember, communication is not a skill you finish, something you keep growing. Every conversation is a new chance to build trust, share meaning, and learn more about yourself and others. You now have the tools: clear speech, purposeful body language, active listening, real stories, and emotional presence. Use them, polish them, trust them. In the next segment, we'll explore how to stay consistent, how to create a daily routine that maintains your momentum, prevents burnout, and keeps you speaking confidently even when life gets busy. Because the secret to fluency isn't a hidden formula. It's showing up again and again, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard, your voice matters. You've come this far. Keep going. Chapter Sir. Real-world applications. Conquering different scenarios. Once you've laid the foundation with solid communication skills, it's time to step out of the practice zone and apply your voice in the real world. This is where all the breathing exercises, self-talk, pronunciation drills, and posture work mean little if you stay in hiding. Now is the time to walk into spaces where your English can serve you, to introduce yourself, to tell your story, to hold your ground. Confidence is not only built in safe environments, it's tested and strengthened in uncertain ones. So let's talk about how to conquer 3 major scenarios that often intimidate learners: networking events, professional presentations, and everyday conversations. Let's start with networking events. These are gatherings where people meet to exchange ideas, build connections, or explore opportunities. Whether it's a college meetup, a job fair, or an industry seminar, networking can feel like a pressure cooker for non-native English speakers. The fear of saying the wrong thing or freezing mid-sentence can make you want to avoid these spaces altogether. But you don't have to. The truth is, people aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for presence. When you walk into a networking room, the first 5 seconds matter more than anything. Stand with open posture. Shoulders back, arms relaxed, chin lifted. This alone makes you appear approachable. Then, smile. Smiling sends a universal message: I'm safe, I'm open, I'm ready to connect. Approach someone standing alone or near a group's edge. Start with something simple. Hi, I'm Mitch. Your name left mind if I join you? Most people are relieved when someone breaks the ice. Have a few go-to questions ready. These make you feel prepared and reduce anxiety. Examples: what brings you here today? What do you do? Or how did you get into this field? People love. If you're not sure how to respond, use active listening cues like, "That's interesting, really?" Or, "I hadn't thought of it that way." Then, add something from your own experience. Remember, conversation is not ping pong. It's more like dancing. It's okay to take your time, to breathe, and to speak slowly. And If someone asks you a question and your mind goes blank, don't panic. Just say, "That's a great question. Let me think for a second." You're not a robot, you're a human. And that moment of honesty can actually make you more relatable. Networking is not about impressing, it's about expressing. Be real, be curious, be kind, and the English will follow. Now, let's shift to presentations. One of the most anxiety-inducing experiences, even for native speakers. You're standing in front of an audience, all eyes on you. The silence heavy. Your slides are ready, but your heartbeat is louder than your voice. So, how do you speak with confidence? The key to delivering impactful presentations in English is structure, rehearsal, and energy. First, know your structure. Begin with a strong opening, a short story, a surprising fact, or a powerful question. This immediately pulls the audience in. Then, break your content into clear sections. Use phrases like, "First, let's explore. Next, we'll look at. And finally, I want to leave you with." These signposts help your listeners and help you stay focused. Rehearse your talk out loud, not once, but multiple times. Practice in front of a mirror, then record yourself. Time it. Notice where you stumble. Adjust your script. The goal isn't to memorize every word, but to feel familiar with the flow. Repetition turns anxiety into confidence. Practice, practice how you'll start and how you'll end. The beginning and ending are what people remember most. During your presentation, remember to speak slower than you think you should. Nerves make us rush, but speed confuses listeners and increases the chance of mistakes. Pause often. Use silence as a tool. Let your words breathe. Look at the audience. Don't stare at your slides or notes. If direct eye contact is too hard, look at their foreheads or between their eyes. It feels like eye contact, but it's less intimidating. Use gestures to support your words. Even simple hand movements create engagement. If you lose your place or forget something, don't apologize or panic. Say, "Let me rephrase that," or "Let's take a quick step back." So, most audiences don't notice small errors, but they do notice how you handle them. Stay composed. Stay in the moment. Remember, people are on your side. They're not here to judge. They want you to succeed. Finally, let's talk about casual conversations. The ones that happen in hallways, break rooms, coffee shops, or on public transport. These are the most frequent types of interaction, but for many learners, they're the hardest. Why? Because they're unpredictable. There's no script. People use slang. They speak fast. They interrupt themselves. You can't prepare for every sentence. So instead of trying to predict the conversation, focus on presence. Start with simple topics, how someone's day is going, a movie you watched, your favorite food, the weather. Yes, even the weather. It might feel basic, but Small talk is the bridge to deeper connection. Use statements like, I'm new to this area. Do you have any favorite restaurants nearby? Or I just watched something interesting. Have you seen movie Shiljalams? Questions invite conversation, but sharing your own thoughts keeps it balanced. If you don't understand something someone says, it's okay. Truly, it's okay. Just smile and say, sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again? Or what does that mean? Most people are happy to help. It doesn't make you look weak. It makes you look engaged. Use filler phrases when you need time to think. Dirlen das Leist. Well, I'm not sure, but das recht. Let me think about that. That's a good question, actually. These buy you a few seconds and make your response feel natural. Don't aim for perfect grammar. Aim for connection. If someone corrects you, thank them. Don't be embarrassed. Every correction is over time. As you get more comfortable with everyday interactions, you'll notice something powerful. Your brain will stop treating English as a foreign language and start treating it as a familiar one. You'll start thinking in English without even realizing it. You'll stop translating in your head, and one day you'll look back and laugh at the time you were scared to say, "Hi, how's it going?" But all of this, from networking to presenting to chatting with a stranger, only becomes real through consistent action. Don't wait for the fear to disappear. Speak while afraid. Move while unsure. Step into the room even if your legs are shaking. Each time you speak, you shrink the fear. Each time you try, you strengthen your confidence. Your English doesn't have to be flawless to be powerful. It just has to be honest, intentional, and used. Because at the end of the day, your message matters more than your mistakes. And in the next chapter, we'll talk about sustaining this momentum, because building confidence is one thing, but maintaining it is another. We'll dive into routines, habits, and long-term strategies to make English not just something you study, but something you live. You're already on the path. Let's keep walking together. Chapter Wove, From Fear to Fluency, Embracing Your Journey. You've come a long way. Maybe you didn't notice it at first. Maybe you still feel nervous sometimes, or catch yourself hesitating mid-sentence. That's okay, because growth isn't always loud. It's often quiet. It shows up in the moments where you speak up instead of staying silent. In the times when you say hello with confidence, even if your heart races, in the way you now pause and breathe instead of panicking. That's progress, and it's time to celebrate it. So many English learners are conditioned to focus only on what's still wrong, the words they fumble, the grammar they forget, the accents they think make them sound less than. But this mindset is poison to confidence. If you constantly measure yourself by perfection, you'll never feel proud. So change the lens. Look at what you've done right. Maybe you finally ordered coffee in English without switching languages. Maybe you introduced yourself to someone new. Maybe you answered a question in class even if you stumbled a bit. Those are wins. Those are evidence that you're moving from fear to fluency. Take a moment to reflect. What could you not do 3 months ago that you can do now? Write it down. Say it out loud. Own your effort, because fluency isn't built on flawless sentences. It's built on thousands of imperfect tries. And every step deserves to be acknowledged. But growth doesn't stop at celebration. It continues through consistent practice. You already know that showing up is half the battle. But here's the other half: showing up with intention. That means practicing in ways that stretch you, not just repeating what's easy, but challenging yourself with new situations, new topics, and new people. Create a simple routine that fits your lifestyle. 10 minutes a day is better than 2 hours once a week. Read a short article out loud. Listen to an English podcast on your walk. Record a voice note telling the story of your day. Watch a short video, pause, and mimic the speaker. The goal is daily exposure. Your brain needs regular contact with the language to truly absorb it. And most importantly, speak. Even if it's to yourself in the mirror, even if no one's listening. Speaking is what rewires your brain for real-time English use. As you practice, seek feedback. Feedback is a gift. It shows you what's working and what needs improvement. But many learners avoid it out of fear. They worry they'll feel judged, or that they'll be reminded of what they don't know. Shift that fear into curiosity. Ask a teacher, a friend, or even a language partner, "How did I sound?" Or, "What would make this sentence better?" Don't just ask if it's right, ask how to make it more natural. There's a difference between accuracy and fluency. You want both. If someone corrects you, thank them. If someone doesn't understand you, ask them to repeat. Every misunderstanding is an opportunity to refine. Feedback should never feel like failure. It's part of the journey. And the more comfortable you become with correction, the faster you grow. But let's be honest, this journey can feel lonely, especially if no one around you is going through the same struggle. That's why the final piece of fluency is just as important as practice: community. You need people who understand the road you're on, people who can remind you that you're not alone, people who celebrate your tiny wins and nudge you forward when fear tries to pull you back. Start by finding or creating a supportive circle. This doesn't have to be a formal group. It can be a few friends who are also learning, or an online chat group where people practice daily. It can be a language exchange partner, someone who wants to learn your language while helping you with English. What matters is this: surround yourself with voices that encourage, not criticize. In a community, you're allowed to make mistakes without shame. You're allowed to be a beginner. You're allowed to laugh at yourself when things go wrong. And more importantly, you're reminded that progress isn't just about moving forward. It's about staying in the game. You can also join online platforms. Many websites and apps offer conversation rooms, live classes, and forums where learners support each other. Use social media to follow educators who inspire you. Comment, engage, And don't be afraid to post your own progress. The more you interact, the more English becomes a living language for you, not just something you study, but something you experience. Building a community also helps fight the biggest enemy of fluency, self-doubt. There will be days when your mind says, "You're not improving," or "You'll never sound fluent." On those days, your community becomes your mirror, reflecting back how far you've come, even when you can't see it yourself. And don't forget to give support too. Encourage someone else. Share what's working for you. Celebrate another learner. Teaching and supporting others is one of the most powerful ways to deepen your own understanding. You're not just learning a language, you're building a voice and helping others find theirs too. The road from fear to fluency isn't a straight path. It loops, it dips. Some days feel like leaps forward. Others feel like but every day you show up, speak up, and open up, you are growing. Even when it's not obvious. Even when you still feel unsure, here's what no one tells you. Fluency isn't a destination. It's a practice. You'll always be learning. Even native speakers are. You'll always be refining, adjusting, improving. And that's beautiful because it means you're alive in the language, not frozen in fear, but flowing in freedom. So embrace your journey, every imperfect word, every awkward pause, every courageous conversation. These are not setbacks. These are your steps. And step by step, you are becoming the confident English speaker you once thought you couldn't be. In the next and final part of our journey, we'll talk about sustaining this confidence long term, how to keep your skills sharp, your mindset strong, and your purpose clear. Because speaking English isn't just about language. It's about unlocking opportunities, building relationships, and expressing who you are to the world boldly and unapologetically. You've made it this far, and that deserves to be celebrated. Keep going.